Shalom, 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 children of Israel, wherever you may be in the diaspora. All of you, not just us Judites and Benjamites and Levites that are here, but in the Americas, but the Levites, because you know the Levites was like a divided tribe because they were our priests, and they are in the north and the south, so in both kingdoms. So to you, wherever you are in the world, see, the Lord's word said you were driven out into every nation into the world. And the reason why you were there, Israel, is to wake and save, to preach and teach the word of Yahshua, HaMashiach, the risen Savior of the earth, he who comes again to redeem the lost tribes of Israel. See, not just you who are lost, but those of us who know who we are. See, those of us who are the true Jews, if you will, the children of Yahuwah, the true descendants of Yahuwah. We here in the Americas, and we to the point now where our 400 years of captivity has finally come to its conclusion. And I can see that the atmosphere in America is different today. Yesterday we was wanting to overcome. We shall. No. See, we not that people. That's not me. I wasn't raised to bow down to you and call you Yahuwah. Yahuwah. I wasn't taught to speak like that. My father was a highly educated graduate of Wilberforce University, Alpha Phi Alpha. Now, I didn't pledge Greek because ain't no Greek in me. I'm a Hebrew. And something in my spirit just, it didn't mesh well. See, because you got to realize that they came up in a different time. They came up in a time of still ignorance. They came up in the time of ignorance, where we come up in the time of knowledge and information. You see what I'm saying? As even in I was born in the 60s. 63, and I lived through the 70s, and I saw that when in the 70s it was like the most peace amongst us in the races. I mean, it was every now and then some white person would do something disrespectful, or some brother would do something disrespectful towards one of them. But the point about it is, it wasn't like up and abundant. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see it. I grew up in a mixed environment, and I didn't really see the racism like that. I didn't see it, but I heard about it, and I knew it existed because older people were talking about it, and I knew it existed, but I didn't see it. So until now, it took me to get older to see the blatant hatred and racism that white America has towards black America. You can't even go to the park and sit on a bench. A girl in New York yesterday, I was watching her video, but some Russian chick, wasn't even American citizen probably. If she was so new that she was first generation. Her accent was too heavy. And she gonna try to run a black girl out the park in New York. Come on now. Take your Spisbanka ass back to Russia. We ain't feeling you, Splana, whatever your name is. How you say SV? Splat. I'm just playing. But anyway, she an idiot. She gonna come to this country and try to tell black people how to act. And black people didn't come here voluntarily. We here because we were brought in ships with yokes of iron about our neck. And nobody took us back home. They didn't give us enough money to afford a way back home and go somewhere where we can live and start a life. See what I'm saying? We're not mad at you like we should be, because we see the scriptures and the prophetic word of the Lord of every glory. We know what's going to happen to you. We know that your time is up. We know that the plagues and curses is going to hit this land and hit this land and hit this land and hit this land and hit this land, and it ain't going to stop. Hurricanes finna batter the East Coast. They finna tear this country up, the Gulf and the East Coast. Everywhere that you held us in bondage. Virginia, y'all gonna get it. New Orleans, you gonna get it. See, you in power still, and we still at the bottom of the barrel in your places. After 400 years, you had us in breeding farm like cattle. I was reading old history, American true history, not the stuff that they show you in the textbooks at school about slavery. They water it and dummy it down so bad that it almost looked like the blacks were satisfied being in their slave. They don't talk about what they did. They don't talk about the harsh cruelties of the slavery. They don't give you none of that in history. None of that. But if anybody ever did anything wrong to them, they're going to detail it and explain to you all or everything that was done wrong as far as they're concerned. They tied our babies and threw a rope over a tree and dangled it over a swamp or bayou filled with gators so that they could get that gator, get his skin and make boots and whatever else they made with that gator. But they used our children as bait. And these are the same people who are on the police force today who will hold their knee in your neck. See, they descend from the very people who didn't even care about your children as you were babies. Their hearts have been hardened against you, Israel, Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Wherever you at in the diaspora, his heart is hard against you. You can't even be in your own land and own your minerals. You better stay out of your own land because this theirs now, owned by the United States government. How is that possible? See, they know that if they were to give us reparations and let us go, that we would go build something and we would have no inclusion with them. They wouldn't have no, whatever minerals we have when we locate, those are ours. We would keep them. We develop them and sell them. Give them nothing. We don't need no assistance, no handout. Give us our reparations, and then we good from there. We'll build our communities. See, it's time for us to go, Israel. We've been here long enough. The Lord said after 400 years, our sentence is up. Now, you can obey him again. You can return to worshiping him in the Shabbat. You can remember his Passover. See, that didn't happen to the Pope. That happened to you, Israel. The Roman Empire didn't go through no Passover. Death didn't pass them over in Egypt. That's why they don't honor it. You worship Ishtar, the goddess of Easter. If you study it and find out what it's all about, a bunny bringing your children dead chicken eggs. You will bring that into the place where you worship the Lord. See, that's why we're in trouble in the first place, Israel. Worshiping other gods. You haven't had enough. You ready for the Lord's next plague and curse to beat you down first? See, you got to get your behind beat first, Israel. Because you're going to turn back to the ways of Yahuwah. Or you're going to be a victim here in America. Your children are going to be victims. You think your sons are daughters and your daughters are sons? Shame on you, house of Israel. You look like your captors. Remember, you were supposed to keep yourself separate. That's why you in the pain you in. Your children being raised to be fodder for some white supremacist terrorist cop's neck, foot on your neck, knee in your neck while you cuffed. Did you see it was 3 cops holding that man down? The brother said, man, get up and get in the car. He said, I can't. Man, a knee in my neck, a knee in my back, and a knee, and somebody is holding my feet down. What do you think I can do to defend myself? You senselessly watched a murder unfold before your eyes, and because they had guns and they were police officers, that brother's life was forfeit because you were afraid. Your fear allowed George Floyd to die. See, you could have came up and said, you can mace me, do what you gonna do, man. But you're not killing that, you're not killing him. I gotta take one for the team. Where you at, soldier? Where you at? Want to take one for the house of Israel. Where you at? Mighty men of Israel, warrior class, out there yelling at people in the corners. Where you at fighting for the house? Get your behind off that corner and get active, yelling at people. You know how stupid you look. Do something to help. Running around here trying to dress like something else. All you got to do is put those fringes on your borders of your clothes that you got on today. You ain't got to get all, man. And then y'all standing around hollering at people, disrespecting people. That is not the way of the Lord. Oh, you don't serve Yahweh. So he is not your king. So you running around here hollering at people, not giving the glorious one glory, who comes to reign over us for 1,000 years. See, that's what's wrong with you false prophets. Why don't you shut up talking to my people? That they may return to Yahuwah. That they remember all his fasts, all his feast days. Then you preachers in these churches keep dragging the house of Israel to worship the Lord in a day that a man who had no covenant with Yahuwah set before you. You such a foolish people. He said you was going to go into a land and worship gods made of wood and stone, and look at you idiots. And you Islamic black people, if you knew how stupid you were to proclaim the nation of Islam, do you know what Islam, them Arabs chased you out of your land with the Romans, and then when you was in the land of Judah, the Arabs had hunting parties, and they was selling you, chasing you down the trans-Saharan and transatlantic slave trade. And then you're going to worship in a mannerism to a god of stone with no power, and he can't hear and he can't do nothing. There's only one Elohim. There is only one Yahuwah. And there's none in the universe that's like him, or in existence in the tides of time, or in the time to come. There will never be one his equal. And he alone is the Lord, and he is the Lord of Israel. See, your ancestor went to him to seek out him and who he was, Israel. And he revealed himself and made a friendship with Father Abraham and a covenant that his seed gonna be as numerous as the sands on the seashore, as numerous as the stars in the heavens. That's how many descendants you gonna have because of your great love for me. Now, note most assuredly that they ain't gonna have a good time the whole time, because they gonna sin against me. And then for 400 years, I'm gonna send them into a captivity. And they're going to go by ships with yokes of iron about their necks. So you know that ain't the first Egypt. We didn't go into Egypt with yokes of iron about our necks or by ship. We came to the United States of America with yokes of iron about our neck. We came to the United States of America in the belly of ships. And you worked us in slavery for 310 years, and you kept us still under your bondage for the next 90. We couldn't grow. We tried to form a city, Rosewood, a couple of cities, Black Wall Street, and what you do, bomb it and destroy it. When we try to form communities and try to develop and grow ourselves, what you do, you come over there and inject us with gonorrhea, Tuskegee Airmen who fight for you, defend your country. And then when you don't need them no more, they're pieces of trash to be discarded to the side and shot up with gonorrhea and syphilis, and see how long they can survive and what the effects of it is long term. That's the country. And you don't think that your shame goes all the way to heaven? See, you had 400 years to do this to us, and you did everything you could. But the word says, in your punishment of me, you were too cruel. So you got to get retribution. You had to be paid back. I look at a lot of prophecies, and the one that disturbs me a bit is that glad would a man be who take your little ones and dash their heads against the stones. You know, we was alligator bait children. And I was saying, well, that's kind of a bit disturbing. But I can see that in the fit of rage and in war, because you don't mind killing babies. You don't mind shooting up kids at the playground. You don't mind calling the police on babies selling water. You don't mind causing as much harm to us and our children as you can. So, yeah, I guess when the shoe hits the other foot, which it will, America falls very shortly. America falls very shortly. Not as long as you think. You think you so secure and you so mighty and powerful. But the Lord of every glory been saving up something special for you, United States of America, in the form of a massive super volcano. You who murdered. See, your parents is already in hell waiting on you because they taught you to be this way. So they know ain't nothing else gonna come and teach you anything different. See, generational curses. And just like I had to pay for worshiping idol gods, and to this day, my family's still running to the church on Sunday. That's a shame. When they know that the word of the Lord is his word yesterday, today, and forever, it doesn't change. And some man with no covenant can't come in and tell you that you can't worship in the Holy Shabbat. I mean, he did, and he did murder millions of people. Millions. He murdered millions for not keeping Sunday, the day of the sun. The day, you know, he had a pagan funeral. He got buried with the sun ritual funeral for the sun god Ra. And that's what's funny to me about whites. All your gods come from Africa. The god of the sun ain't nobody but Ra. You hate blacks so much, but every god that you want to worship come from the place where blacks are. Even the false gods. Ra? Really? Ra can't do nothing for you. He can't make the sun go off or come back on. He ain't nothing but something dead. Ishtar, some demon that's already condemned. You people in Norse who Ragnarok coming, your gods die in the end. Don't you know your gods is demons who gonna be destroyed by Yahuwah? And they didn't even lie to you. All right, Israel. You keep on sleeping like you want to sleep on the Lord. You keep on letting your sons tell you he a different sex than God made him. You let your daughters tell you that they need a girlfriend instead of a man. This is how they done whooped you in your brain. You know you're not reproducing like you used to. Because the boys want to lie with the boys now. And the girls want to lie with the girls. So ain't no babies being born in them houses. See, it'd be impossible for a man and a woman, how God created you, to lay up in a house for years and don't create issue unless there's a problem internally with one of you. See, other than that, there would be issue. So all these 5, 6, 7, 8 years you've been living together with the same sex and there's no child there, that's because the Lord didn't bless you to have issue. You are an abomination to the Lord of every glory. Abomination. And you teach your children. Those of us with money, Wayne Wade, done cut his son's part off that the Lord gave him so that he could be a full girl. I hate to say this to you, Dwayne Wade, like this, but your son gonna make an ugly bitch. An ugly bitch. You ugly. You just rich. You gonna make your son gonna be an ugly, ugly bitch. Ugly bitch. And if he grow up and really want to be a man and realize what he made a foolish mistake as a child in the state of a child's mind, that you helped him, you think he gonna love you for what you did to him? You fool. What if he wake up in his spirit one day and decide to give his soul and his life over to Yahuwah, and you done mutilated his body because he was a child and couldn't make a proper decision for him? So Charlemagne the God, praise you. The God of what? Stupidity? Little short dude, bald head guy, talking about he a God, talking that transgenderism and all that LGBTWXYZ, XY, whatever you choose to be community. What you the God of? Stupidity? See, there's only one God, and he only made 2 sexes, male and female. He hallowed it, he said it was good, and he told them to be fruitful and multiply. See that? And he told them too. If he wanted 2 dudes, he could have made 2 dudes, or he could have made 2 chicks, and wouldn't have been no more people. It'd have been just them 2 forever. That ain't what he wanted. If you can't reproduce, if you can't procreate, then he didn't mean for you to be together. In Israel, he really didn't mean for you to mix with other people because they bringing their gods with them. See, Solomon, the wisest but the most foolish of us, allowed women to bring these foreign gods in, and he in there chanting to them and worshiping. What a foolish, wise man. And that's who got you in captivity today, Israel. Foolish people. They elected an idiot to be their king, to destroy all the allies that they've built over the last 100 years or so. He got them beating up the people in the streets. This dude really think he's a dictator or king or something. He don't realize that it's only by the will of the people that you sit there. You thought it was all between politicians and Congress and the House, but we are the people. We the people. See, you could be removed from that office just as you were placed in it by the people. We don't need Congress and the House to remove you from office. That you are not our president, and we will not follow after you and your ways, and we will revolt if you make us. You firing tear gas and rubber bullets into the citizens. You have no respect for the people that you call your constituency. Your way or no way. You're a dictator. And then you get mad at people who check you. You know, I really believe that you are without a doubt the shallowest human being in the earth. You didn't even apologize for trying to have 5 children placed on death's row and murdered, destroyed their whole young life, and ain't no apology. You are the worst scum that this earth has produced. And white America want you to be their king. They deserve you. And they deserve the destruction that you're about to bring on the United States of America. I just want to sit back and watch what you do next. See, I'm neither Republican or Democrat. I don't care about your government or God. You're not nothing to me. And you do nothing to benefit me and my family. We black in America. You can care less about us. You would like my vote, sure. You'd love my vote. You got my uncle. I got an uncle that's an ex-IRS agent. He's so in love with you, you could kill citizens in like Tiananmen Square, and he'll still run and vote for you. Because he's brainwashed. He has Stockholm syndrome. And I hate to say it like that, but he does. He been wanting to be like Massa. Y'all the balls, Massa. And your descendants, his descendants since he got here. Military, federal government, running around, got caught. He was messing around with the CIA at first. And they caught his behind. They had him a year or two, and my family being the Christian household, praying, and then they was basically keeping most of God's commandments except honoring his Shabbat, and have no other gods before. I mean, because that Easter bunny thing with Ishtar and Santa Claus, you lying to children about Santa Claus and Ishtar. So maybe you lying about Yeshua or Jesus too. See, as a child grows up, it's a fallacy. This whole place is a joke. Everything, when I was a baby, you was telling me the Easter bunny was something special. And then you told me that Santa Claus was coming to town and he was special. You even, some churches do Halloween and celebrate Satan's Day. I mean, which God do you truly serve? Pick one and stick with him. First of all, you pastors, you better start closing them doors on Sunday and go back to worshiping the Lord in the Shabbat. Especially you children of Yahuwah. You won't keep on leading the flock away from the will and the word of the Lord. You're going to keep on leading them purposely after the way of a man who took away your fast and feast days and said, if I catch you doing this, you're going to be murdered. Well, today you got the freedoms and liberties to go back to worshiping the Lord in the mannerism that he wants to be worshiped. You want to be heard? And you prosperity churches, y'all care less about what I'm talking about right now. Because you serve a God that only gives things because you give something. And if I stand in your seed offering line, then I can get a blessing. See, I ain't even speaking to y'all, false prophets. I don't got nothing to you. And then look how they line up for you. And they don't realize that they don't get nothing in return but more and more in debt. While you live like kings upon the earth, like a scribe and a modern day Pharisee, dressed the best places, the best seat, the best of the best of the best of the best. Yeshua, who you claim to serve or worship, he didn't have no house, no place to lay his head. Foxes had dens, but the Son of Man had no place to lay his head. He ain't had no fancy car. He had none of that. But you higher and mighty than the Lord who came and gave himself. And you eat and live high and haughty on the hog of the people. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you for perpetuating this lie and this sin to keep us in bondage. Shame on you. I love you, Israel. And I'm sorry for going on as long as I did. A bit, not really, but I'm going to say that because it's socially correct, I guess. But I do love you. Nevertheless, and I'm praying for you, and I'm asking the Lord of every glory to come by your house, to circumcise your heart, that you may return to his ways and turn away from everything man has taken away from you that was his way. Shalom, 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 O Israel.